Hey, Nick. I'm just curious your thoughts on Seth Jones and just knowing that he may not have been able to start the playoffs with you guys if this all hadn't happened. But you don't want to see a pandemic and all that. But what does it mean to you guys as a team to know you're going to have Seth and a fully healthy lineup?
Well, I think it's obviously a huge boost. I mean, he's a world-class player for a reason. He's a leader on our team for a reason, and he's a big engine on our back end. He kind of makes our team go. So to know that we have a healthy Seth Jones in the lineup, I think it would have been a lot different had we been playing the playoffs with him on probably one leg. So to know that he's feeling good and excited about his opportunity to be able to play at full health, I think it's a huge boost for our club and something that we don't want to waste. So we're really pumped to have him back, and I can just see his energy right now is infectious with the whole group.
Next question, Aaron Portzline from The Athletic.
Hey, Nick. Wondering the challenges of being a captain. I don't think you ever really know what to expect sometimes from day to day, but how weird has this been, and what have you done in that role? Or have you thought about your responsibility in that role to handle this in a certain way when there's really nothing that can prepare you for this?
Yeah, I just think that's part of trying to be a leader for your team. I think you try to read the room. That's always kind of how I've been, no matter what, whether we're in a bubble or we're just playing a game. You're trying to just see where everyone's at to kind of get the temperature of what your team's feeling, what they're focusing on. And if you need to redirect, then you do things. But, I'm lucky. I got a group that's pretty committed to what we're doing. I think we feel like we have a great opportunity, and being here and having a chance to vie for the Stanley Cup. And, we're not going to waste that opportunity. So, it's making sure we keep them on the rails and bump along as we go here. But, I think we have an excited young team. I love coming to work every day with these guys and getting to know them even more. In this setting, it's actually kind of a blessing in a weird way, where I'm spending that time with a 19-year-old or an 18-year-old or a 20-year-old and sitting there with the video games and then figuring out what they like. And whereas normally I'm tied up with my family or things that I've got going on. So it's kind of brought us all to one level here. And I think it's helped our group become even closer. And it's going to be a great way for me to just have that bond even more with some of these guys. So I've really enjoyed it and embraced it. And, hopefully we can translate on that on the ice.
Up next, Jess Svoboda from ColumbusBlueJackets.com.
Hey, Nick, I just saw your tweet about the T-shirts. I just wanted to ask how that whole thing kind of came together because you guys look pretty good today.
Yeah. No, it was just something we thought of. I've worked with those guys with some charity stuff, and they're great company. And, I thought about it just before we left. It was kind of last minute, so I appreciate them, coming up with something for us. We had an idea, and, just something a little fun. I think, obviously, we know the seriousness of the situation, but, for us just to have a little fun while we're here, show a little flair. I think that's what's exciting about this is that you get to see some personalities that maybe you don't normally see. And I thought it was really great that they kind of stepped up and gave us an opportunity to do that with those shirts. And I'm glad people liked them, and they're actually very comfortable. So I feel like I'm giving them a real good plug right now, but they look good on the guys. So it was a lot of fun today.
Up next, Luke Fox from Sportsnet.
Hi, Nick. I wanted to get your sense of how many guys you think will take advantage of the opportunity to watch other games while you're here and just kind of the unique setup that they have and if the true hockey nerds will come out.
Oh, yeah. We already talked about it. I think we're going to have to keep Boone Jenner away from a lot of the rinks because he's a complete hockey nerd. And so we had a few jokes going already with him. And I think it's great. I mean, when are you ever really in a position like this to watch world-class players, and especially at this level, the magnitude of the playoffs, to be able to go watch. I mean, we don't really get to watch live games too often. So I think it's a great opportunity for the guys, and myself included. I mean, I'm going to probably take in a few games, and first of all, it's going to kill the time that we're just sitting around in our hotel rooms anyway. But to the chance to, well, we're all fans. Let's be honest. All of us are fans of the game, fans of other players. So if there's something you can watch and pick up for a team that maybe you're going to play down the road, why not get out there and scout a little bit and just enjoy the game at its finest, I think. And, it'll be really, really neat experience. And I'm certain a lot of guys are going to take it up.
We'll go to Brian Hedger from the Columbus Dispatch.
Nick, being around for a while, being a veteran, you've seen a number of young guys, come in and out of training camps and practices and everything. Do you remember, when you first noticed Eric Robinson's speed, just the abnormal speed that he has?
Yeah, I think it was right away. I think that Robbie, the biggest thing was I think he was too fast for himself at first. I think, and as he kind of got going, everything started to catch up with him. But you're seeing a guy that has that top tier speed in this league, and when he uses it, I mean, he's a weapon. Just like Josh Anderson, where they have this breakaway speed, and you don't really see it coming till he's gone. And so it's great to see him starting to figure himself out, where he's that lethal for us, and a headache for a lot of the defenders in the league, just with his size of him as well. He's not afraid to drop his shoulder and cut to the net. He's a lot like Kreider in New York, where just they're straight ahead players, and when he figures that out and he gets that confidence to play that way and that style, I mean, which he's going to be given every opportunity to do that here. He can be a weapon for us and a great player in this league.
We have time for 2 more questions. Up next, Dave Metzold.
Hey, Nick, you talked about the bubble a little bit. I wonder if you could describe in a little more detail what it's like for you inside the bubble from the perspective of how it's different from a normal road trip, because you guys could be there for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest difference is that when you're in the bubble, you just, normal road trip, you want to go out and explore, you can. I mean, we're obviously limited to what we can do here. It honestly feels a little bit more like playoffs where, you still have the freedom to go, but a lot of guys just end up sticking around the hotel and kind of finding their way just to the lounges and stuff like that. So I think that to me is where it kind of feels similar, which is great because, I mean, we're in playoff hockey right now. So it's going to take some getting used to. It's like anything. No one knew what to expect when we got here. I think the NHL has done a fantastic job, and impressing us with what they've been able to do so far. And I'm sure there's more to come as we get going here and kind of get past the 5-day quarantine. But, my hat's off to them for a really hard situation, for making it about as normal as you could possibly make it in this situation. So, we're going to get used to it. We're pretty routine guys, but we also can go with the flow. And I think you're seeing that out of our group. And I think it's a great test to mental toughness too. I mean, what are you choosing to focus yourself on? And, our group has stayed real focused on the task at hand, which is trying to win hockey games.
Last question for Sean Dunnigan from CBS.
Hey, Nick, have you or have any of your teammates kind of talked about what you might expect on game day as far as there being no crowd, what that might feel like?
Yeah, I think it's something we've talked about, and until we experience it, which maybe is good that we get an exhibition game to kind of experience that instead of stepping out for the first playoff game and witnessing that. But, for me, it's probably going to be weirder just in warm-up. I don't really think once the game hits, it's going to matter that much. There's 5 guys on their side trying to knock you around and score a goal. So I think for us, it's going to change, kind of get us into the zone pretty quickly. But yeah, I'm sure, skating around and warm up, it's going to feel weird. When you score a goal, you're just going to hear your bench's reaction. So things like that are going to be different. But like I said, I mean, it's what you choose to focus on. And I think our group is focused on the moment, winning the moment, being present, and just, allowing our game to kind of, take over and not so worried about what's going on around us. I think we need to be focused on a really good team that we're playing, and making sure that, we have that mindset so that we can give ourselves the best chance for success.
Thanks, Nick, and thank you everyone for joining.
Thanks, guys.